If you're facing existential distress, how can you alleviate your existential distress? Hi, I'm Jane from Chaplain Connect, and today I wanted to give you some tips on how you could find some relief for your existential distress. Now, if you're wondering, wait, what is existential distress again? I have a really good video that is linked here that gets into what is existential distress, gives you some examples, and how it's a little different than emotional distress. But for now, you can think of existential distress as those really big, deeper why questions that don't have solutions. So things like, why does this happen at all? Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? And if you're facing any of those really deep existential distress questions, I bet you are going through quite a bit. And you would love to find any way to relieve this distress that you're experiencing. And I'm so sorry that you're going through all of that right now. And there are 4 things that you can do that can really help alleviate that existential distress. So the first thing is to really bump up your self-care. I know that sounds easier said than done. And so many people will say, oh, self-care, and use your coping strategies. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, that feels like a drop in the bucket. But when you bump up your self-care and really increase those coping techniques that you use that are helpful for you, that can sort of be a buffer, can really help sort of bring down some of the intensity of that existential distress. And so you may be someone who really loves to journal or loves to run or loves to, meditate. And I would say if those are things that you find are really helpful, then increase that right now. And you may be going, yeah, but I don't have time. Like part of my existential distress is that I'm so maxed out right now and overwhelmed. I'd say even more, that's when you need to carve out like 5 minutes of your day to really tend to yourself. Some of you may also be saying, well, no, but the existential distress was caused by the fact that I cannot do my regular coping strategies. Like I've gotten really sick and I used to run whenever I was stressed out. And now that I'm sick, I can't even run and I'm stressed out because I'm sick, but I can't run. And it's like this big loop. So now what do I do? And I would say, this is a hard part that you're in. It's really, really difficult. Again, easier said than done. But what you'll need to do is come up with some new coping strategies. And so that might be journaling for the first time, or meditating, or praying, or, even just watching TV, or calling a friend, whatever you can do, drawing, whatever you can do that kind of helps you come out of that distressing place and helps you find some flow in your life, and some projects that can really kind of help, kind of take over your mind and get you distracted even for a little bit can really, really help. So the first thing is really to increase that self-care, bump it up. Those things that you do that help you through, increase them right now. Or you may be in a place where you have to come up with some new coping strategies and some new self-care. Do it though, invest the time, that will help you a lot. Now, the second thing that you can do to help alleviate some of your existential distress is to find those practical answers. I talked in the other video about existential distress that there are lots of practical answers to that question, why? Why is this happening to me? Why would this happen to anyone? And, I gave the example of someone who had their house burned down in a forest fire, and how a fire chief could really explain the reasons for why their particular house got caught on fire. And that actually may be really helpful to the person in thinking about, well, should I build my house again? Should I rebuild my house in the same place? Or do I really need to start thinking about a different neighborhood even to move to? And what the fire marshal might have to say to you might help alleviate lots of those questions that are floating around in your mind, which then in turn will help alleviate some of the existential distress. This is, again, kind of something that will bring the temperature down on the intensity of the existential distress. but it's not necessarily a solution to your existential distress. The practical questions aren't really what you're asking. You're asking deeper things like, why does this happen to anyone? Why did this happen to me? Why does this happen to my family? And sometimes those practical questions can be helpful, but they're not going to get at the heart of it. But still, they can be kind of helpful in, alleviating some of those extra questions that you have, which in turn can sort of help alleviate some of the existential distress. The third thing that you can do to help alleviate your existential distress, I think really now starts to get into the heart of the matter. It starts to get really deep into that existential distress. And that third thing I would tell you to do is to find other people who have gone through similar things. There's nothing like going to somebody else who's been through the same thing and talking to them about how did they get through it? What did they go through? What are some of the things that they felt along the way? So that homeowner who lost their home in a forest fire might find other homeowners who have gone through a similar thing, maybe in their neighborhood, but maybe also people who have gone through it before and now they've already rebuilt their home or they've already moved and they have some distance from it. Those kinds of folks can be so helpful. They are going to know exactly what it's like to lose a home in a fire. They won't know exactly what you're going through because everybody's experience is different, but they will have a much better sense of some of those common things that people experience in that situation. You may find a lot of support in that. And that really does alleviate existential distress because a facet, a component, a part of existential distress is feeling like you're the only one going through this, that you're the only one who has had their entire home burnt down. Everybody else had parts or, they didn't even have their house burned down in this fire. And you sort of end up thinking like, wait a minute, I'm the only one who's going through this. And so talking to other people can really kind of help decrease that isolation that is so much a part of existential distress. And help you bond with other people who've had the same thing, help you realize I'm not the only one. There is a community of support out there, and it can give you a sense, I can get through this. Those other people have gotten through it, I can get through it too. So find other people who have been through similar situations, and I can guarantee you will find a lot of relief from your existential distress. The fourth recommendation that I have to help alleviate your existential distress is to reach out to a chaplain. Now, often when we're going through a tragedy, it's really hard even to identify our existential distress. You may have gone through a whole bunch of other avenues. You may have tried lots of different things and just found that you still are kind of asking why. You're still kind of just wondering. It's still nagging at you. But it's not really clear, like, what is the actual thing that's nagging you? Like, why is this still bothering you? And so chaplains are very well trained, first of all, to help you identify your particular type of existential distress. What is really distressing you? What are the questions that you in particular are having? And then chaplains are also really trained. Once that's named, identified, acknowledged, chaplains are really well trained in helping you process through that. Chaplains can help you talk through it, help normalize a lot of what you're going through, and give you some strategies as well as resources to really work through some of that. Also, just the act of meeting with a chaplain to identify your particular questions can really help you to start to do the things that will help you in particular. So I encourage you to reach out to a chaplain. If you are in a hospital, a school, the military, or even some workplaces, you may have access to a chaplain, and I would encourage you to reach out to a chaplain and find someone to talk to. If you are not in a setting like that, you do not have access to a chaplain, here at Chaplain Connect, we are happy to meet with you one-on-one. So go to mychaplainconnect.com where you'll find a way to sign up with a chaplain and set up an appointment to meet one-on-one virtually. We also do offer at Chaplain Connect support groups. So you can look through to find those other people who may have gone through a similar situation that you're going through right now. If you look on our website and you do not find the support group that you really are looking for, also send us an email, because there may be other people, and there probably are other people. If you don't find the group on our website that you really would like to be a part of, please send us an email, because I know there are other people going through similar things that you're going through, and we may be able to bring together a group for you. So please do email us, go on our website, sign up to see a chaplain. It can really, really help you so much, or find one in your community. It really can help so much. And I'll tell you that I've had so many patients who have gone through existential distress. You are not alone. And I've also had so many patients who have found peace and resolution to their existential distress and have just felt a great burden come off of them. They'll often say things like, I used to ask why a lot, but I don't anymore, because I found that it's just really not that helpful. And right now I'm in a greater sense of peace. So again, my heart goes out to you if you're in the midst of existential distress right now. Know again that you are not alone, and know that this will not last forever. You can find relief, and you can come to a place of peace. So I hope that this has helped you. Please do like and subscribe if you'd like more content from our channel. And I hope with all that you're going through, if you're going through existential distress right now, that you have as good a day as you possibly can today.